You are tuned in to your dose of positivity. I am Marlene Motivates, and shout out to all my channel members. Thank you so much for your membership. And if you would like to support me as a content creator, you could do so by joining my channel membership. I am Marlene Motivates, and as I always say, just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Hey everybody, how is everybody doing? I am Marlene of Marlene Motivates, your channel for inspiration, positivity, life lessons, all of that. If you are new to this channel, subscribe. I'd love to have you over here as a fellow motivator. So welcome everybody. If you have not already, hit the like. I'd really appreciate it. So today we're going to be talking, this is our Thankful Thursday series where we go into some dating relationship issues. And today we're going to be focusing on when a relationship ends, and how to identify when a relationship is truly over. We're going to talk about some signs, some no-nos, some things that maybe we do, maybe some things that we're not really sure that we do, but we're going to talk about this because it's very important for us to know when a relationship is over and when a relationship is not serving us for a purpose, okay? So let me put this up here. Yeah, support this channel. Hit the like. I really appreciate it. Welcome in, Puzzle Pieces. How are you doing? Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate your support. And thank you for being an awesome mod and member. Really appreciate you. So today, everybody, we're talking about when a relationship is over. And this is important to talk about when a relationship is over, because that's just going to entail that we are staying in a relationship for longer than we should. And there's many reasons why we do that. One of the first things is usually, lack of self-esteem, lack of believing in ourselves, lack of thinking that we could find somebody else, a lack of thinking that we deserve, also making our family members happy. So we're going to get into some more of those things. But first of all, relationships are something wonderful if we have a healthy one. Because we hear those stories every day of toxic relationships. It's all over social media, in the news. So we know what a bad relationship looks like. So we're talking about a healthy one. And we want to identify when the relationship stops being healthy, or it maybe never has been healthy to begin with. So we're going to get into all of those things. Hey, Realist One here. How are you doing? Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Got a mod on deck. Yes. So let's start off by doing this. What we will not do, okay? We will not do motivators. We will not stay in a relationship that isn't some of these. I think I came up with 11 things. We will not stay in a relationship that isn't, okay? So this shows, number one, that we respect ourselves, that we know our worth. We know that we are deserving, and we're going to put in the work. We're not just going to sit and stay in a toxic relationship. We're not just going to stay in a relationship that is not serving a purpose for us. And I will say that sometimes we stay in those relationships just because number one, you may not want to be alone. Another reason to make other people happy, relatives, your children. People stay in relationships sometimes just for the kids. So there's a lot of reasons why people stay in relationships, but we don't want to stay in a relationship that is not helping us to be our best and feel our best. So here's one of my number one reasons why we should not stay in a relationship. Okay, lack of compatibility. A lot of times, maybe the person that when you met somebody, you were in a certain space in your life. Maybe from the beginning, it always has been that you've never been compatible. I know that I am definitely guilty of this, trying to force the relationship to be something that it's not. Um, yeah, it's hard to admit that, but it's the truth. We select people based on where we are, based on the elevation in our life, and sometimes we just don't feel like the relationship is right, and we are seeing red flags. We really don't think that we're compatible with this person, but just because we want to be in a relationship, just because you may like somebody, or just because of the way somebody looks, or just because you're trying to escape from your home environment where you are currently, you said, I rather choose this relationship than stay where I am. So that's some of the things that we should not do. We should not stay in a relationship just because we want to get out. Okay. So this is the first one, lack of compatibility. We will not stay with someone just because we know them. And we can know somebody for a long time. But once you get into a relationship, you see all of you see the flaws, you see the side of them that nobody would ever know besides you, and other people will try to talk you into staying in this toxic relationship. Oh, they're a nice person. Oh, you have a good man, or you have a good woman. But they're not the ones staying with them. They're not the ones that have to deal with them. Okay. So we will not stay in a relationship that we are not compatible with a person. Okay. We're not going to do that. Let's see. Let me start off. Who I missed. Let's see what I missed. Okay. Miss Puzzle Pieces says, I'm guilty of that as well, Marlene. Yeah, I think everybody is. If we're honest with ourselves, everybody has done something. We settle a lot of times in relationships. We settle. We're not perfect. They're not perfect as well, but we become guilty of settling. Okay. Hey, Wellness with Frugal Mama. How are you doing? Welcome. So good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And we have Miss Kim's Bling Bar and More. How are you doing? Welcome. Good to see you. How's everybody doing in the chat today? If you could hit the like, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. I hope you're well, Kim. Good to see you. Doing well, just working. Awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in, Wellness. So this is something that I feel like we all need to have this resolve. We're not going to settle. Now, we all know when we start dating somebody, this is the time to really see, is this somebody that I can see a future with? Is this somebody that I'm compatible with? Is this somebody that treats me well? And if there is a lack of compatibility in the beginning, when you are just getting to know somebody, it's not something that can be forced. Either you're compatible with somebody or you're not. And folks try to force it. I will say, you know, when you don't know yourself, when you feel like you're that good that I'm going to change them, right? We feel we're going to change the person. I can make them better by, we'll say, I'll love them more. I'll be kinder. I'll do this. I'll do that. We try to over love a person into thinking that me loving them more or me doing more of what they personally need will make the relationship work. And that never works. Okay. If a person's not compatible with you, nothing you do is going to change that. Yes, realist one. Hit that like. I really appreciate it, everybody. Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate you, Miss Kim. So that's the first point, everybody. Don't be with somebody, don't be in a relationship with somebody. And, when you see those key red flags, those signs that we just don't fit right, just like it's not going to work for whatever reason, be mature enough to receive that. We don't always want to believe that because maybe we have relatives or other people telling us that's not a good person. We hear, we get the warnings from other people, but also in ourselves, it tells us, don't pursue this relationship, stay away, don't call them, don't be around them, but we keep going back for more. We need to recognize when a relationship is over from the beginning, like this is just not going to work. And before I get my heart involved, before I get, maybe if you have children, other relatives, before you get everybody used to a person, it's better to cut ties when things are in the beginning stages than to have to cut ties after more things happen in the relationship that makes it more difficult. So this is another reason how to know your relationship is over is when the disrespect. If you're in a relationship with somebody and they're very disrespectful, I meant to put disrespectful. Okay. Disrespectful of your thoughts, your opinions, and boundaries. So the things that you think about, they really don't want to hear your thoughts. Sometimes it could be over talking you, discrediting you, embarrassing you in front of other people, or they always say, put you down, you're stupid, you're foolish, you don't do anything right. Um, those are not good signs. Or they don't respect your boundaries. If you tell a person things that I don't like this, I don't like when you do this, and they continually still do what they want to do. And it may not always be that they mean to do it, but maybe because of their personality, it's a personality clash or whatever it is. Or maybe they're a person that's very controlling and they don't want you to tell them what to do, or they don't want to do what you want to do. They want to do what they want to do because they're still in that mode. That's not a person that you could build and grow with and be in a relationship with, because a relationship takes two people who are willing to lean on each other, depend on each other for the good times And there's usually always more bad times than good times in a relationship, but somebody who is going to be there for you through that. And if you don't have somebody who is going to respect your thoughts and opinions, especially when their thoughts, their opinions are different from ours, not everybody's going to agree on everything. You have to be mature enough to say, it's cool, you can think that way. That's all right. But this is still how I feel, but you never discredit that person or make a person feel stupid or embarrass them. No, we don't do that. We're too mature for any of that. We have to recognize these signs. We have to pay attention to all of them. So if somebody doesn't know how to respect you as a human being, as a woman, as a man, they can't respect your opinions, they don't respect your boundaries, then they have to go. That's just it. And that's one of the things that it may start off by something small, something, very insignificant, but it grows into bigger things. Because if a person can't respect you in little things, what's going to happen when there's bigger decisions, bigger choices, when you maybe have to go away or do something? Is it going to bring in some trust issues? No, that's not a good thing. So if you are with somebody and they can't respect you, no, they have to go. I tell people close to me, you don't have to agree, but I will appreciate it very much if you respect it. I like that thought. Puzzle pieces. Great thought. Great point. Yeah, we don't have to agree, and there's no way we ever will. You're never going to agree on everything, especially in relationships. You have two different people, two different backgrounds, opinions, life lessons, journey, personality, all of those things. And when it comes together, there's just going to be some head butting, but respectful. Respectful. I think that's so important. It's key, for women. It's key for men. Be respectful. And there are some things that maybe you don't understand. I can say sometimes there's some things I don't understand about men. I don't understand, and I don't think I will ever understand. But I try my best to be respectful. That's their background. That's what they are going through. And if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody, then you're just going to have to just let them be that and feel the way they feel. And one thing that I learned in my maturity, that it doesn't mean that we have to agree on everything. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean you have to agree on every single thing that somebody is saying in the relationship, but you have enough maturity to say, I'm going to let you feel how you feel, and it doesn't discredit me. It does not make me be less of a woman, and it doesn't make you less of a man for you to feel how you feel. But we don't do the putting each other down, embarrassing, yelling, berating. No, we don't do that. That's childish behavior. And if you have somebody who likes to yell and scream, put you down, they don't listen to you, they overtalk you, that's not going to work. This is a big one. This is a key sign to end a relationship. A person who is controlling, and controlling can go with other things too, because a controlling person controls, wants to. It doesn't mean they will, but they try to control where you go, who you're around, what you're talking about, what you eat, you know, control everything, what you think, what you believe, every single thing about you, and that is not healthy. I've seen many people in relationships that they have to know from the beginning of the day till the time they go to bed. And this is dating. This is not even marriage. This is dating. They got to know what they ate, who is around, what do they look like, what is their name. That's too much. That's controlling behavior, and you have to be very careful, because that type of controlling behavior spills out into other things. Then it could start to be aggression. Okay, then they start getting very aggressive because you won't tell them, or they start demanding, answer your phone, where are you, who are you talking to, who are you with, what time are you getting home? And then they start saying things like, get home now. Mm-mm. That's not a good thing. A person who is controlling, they need to work on themselves, their anger issues, and Controlling also goes with jealousy, and that is never a good look. If you have someone who is always jealous of you having friendships, you spending time with your relative, even being jealous about you working, or or maybe the way you look, the way you dress. There's a lot of ways that a person can control in a relationship that we have to be careful, because I've heard people say, oh no, they just want to know what I'm doing, or they're just concerned, right? And that's how it starts. It starts with a person saying, I'm just concerned, right? And then that concern goes to yelling. Then it goes to, I don't want you to be around that person. I don't want you to go there. I don't want you to eat that. I don't want you to have this friend. So it becomes to where that control turns into manipulation. It turns into anger. It turns into jealousy. So many things can keep going continuously. It spins out of control. So a person who is controlling, it spins the relationship out of control, and there is no way that that's a good thing for you. Let me see what's okay. I see a comment here from Miss Kim. Yes, that could be very dangerous for you if they are trying to isolate you from family and friends. And I've seen it many times in real time, but I've also seen it on many court TV, these crime shows, and it starts off that way. Where are you going? How long are you going to be there? Who is there? Send me your location. They want to know where you are at all times, and you have to check in. And it's almost like you get in trouble, or they start something with you if they don't know where you are every minute of the day, if they don't know who you're with, if they want to know how long is it going to take, how long are you going to be there, are you going to be there 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, and if it's 1 or 2 minutes past that, I thought you said you were going to be there. And then it constantly gets into where it's an argument, not like you're in a relationship. It's almost like they are acting like they are your mother or they're your father. Not a good look, guys. Warning signs. Warning signs. That's not good. A healthy family or a healthy romantic relationship is supposed to be versatile. It's not supposed to be synchronized. Yeah, it's not supposed to be. But unfortunately, a lot of times it really is. And that's not a good thing. So let's see where we are. Okay, this is a big issue. Your relationship basically is over if you are with somebody who is never accountable. They never apologize. They never are sorry. They're always blaming everybody else for their problems. Okay. They never will say, this is what I did. This is the role that I play. They're always the person who always says, that's not me. It always tends to be turn out to be your fault. If you didn't call me at this time, if you didn't do this and you distracted me, or my mom, cousin, this person, that person, this one on the workplace, but it's never them. They never do wrong. And that is not good. If you are in a relationship with somebody and they never will be accountable and say, this is what I did, and they're never willing to say they're sorry. And if they say they're sorry, it's like a backhanded sorry. Well, I'm sorry that I got caught, or I'm sorry that you feel that way. That's another thing that I never like, when people think that they're apologizing. When they say, I'm sorry you feel that way, that's not an apology. I'm sorry to tell you, that's a backhanded apology, because a true apology is just saying you're sorry, not saying I'm sorry you feel that way. They're not saying they're sorry for what they did. They're just saying they're sorry that you feel that way. So again, no accountability. It's not good. Yes, 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 wellness. Hey, Colton, how are you doing? Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome in, everybody. Please hit the like, everybody. Now, okay, I got 6 more points, 7 more points. Okay, we're on point number 5. Now, here is a big one. How to know your relationship is over when you are in a relationship, supposedly, but you never spend time together. You're always too busy doing something. Oh, always too busy working, always too busy with a hobby, always too busy with friends, always too busy having fun or doing something with everybody other than you. If you're in a relationship and you don't spend time together, that's not a relationship. A relationship only works by two people spending time together, talking about things, communicating, just being together to see if it will work. That's important. You got to see if it really will work. And until you spend time together, that's how you'll know. And if a person is not willing to spend time with you, it also goes to show that that person really does not care much about you. They care more about what they're doing in their life than they care more about you. So beware, speaking from personal experience. Um, and it's very hurtful when you're always the one asking, can we spend some time together? Can we go away? Can we have a trip? Can we have a vacation? Can we go out on a date night? When it's always you putting in the work. Let's do something. Let's do something. Let's do something. Let's go somewhere. And then it's never them. And they're always, oh yeah, I'm busy. Oh yeah, I have to work. I have to work. I have to work. I have to work. I'm tired. I'm busy. I'm going to. I already made plans. So they don't want to spend time together with you. It's a key indicator that the relationship is over, because somebody who really cares about you and likes you, they're going to want to spend time with you. They're going to make that time to spend with you, even if it's just a short period of time, but it's the effort in trying to make that time to spend with you. And the other side of that is that I don't want an apology if it isn't sincere. Correct, Miss Kim. Correct. That's so true. We don't. That's a thing that sometimes when people hurt us, especially somebody that you care about, you want that apology, but then like if somebody says it like, I apologize, like with an attitude, or they're saying it just they'll just say they apologize just so that you can end the fight, just so that you can end it, but they really don't mean it. They would just say, I'm sorry. Or it's a thing that they're always apologizing. That's another issue too. If you're with somebody and they always are apologizing for what they're doing, but they never do anything to change it, that's another red flag. To know that this is not a good potential person to be in a relationship. Somebody should go out of their way to spend time together with you, or they don't want to be with you. Okay. Another point, there's no personal growth with that person. Maybe from the time you met, they're always talking about what they're going to do, what they're going to be, how the relationship will be, or even in the relationship, that you don't see the relationship progressing. So maybe you're with somebody who does not want a long-term relationship. Maybe you do. That will not change. Or you are with somebody and you have different values. It's like one person may want children, another person doesn't. One person may love to go out and have fun. They're a very person who likes to be out. And then you got somebody who always wants to be at home. They don't want to go anywhere. That's not good. That's lack of compatibility. And also, when the relationship is not growing, yes, there are always things that you can work on when you're in a relationship. But if you have somebody and they're never willing to make any changes to make you happy, but they're always asking for you to go out of your way to make them happy. Mm-mm. That's a one-sided relationship. That's a very toxic behavior and very manipulative, and it happens a lot. They will always say, always talking about what you don't do, what you don't do, you don't do, you don't do. But what about what they don't do? They don't want to talk about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you. They always switch it back onto you so that you can get the blame. So if it's not a relationship to where you're receiving some personal growth, and they aren't willing to make any changes. They're comfortable with being in a standstill. They don't want more from the relationship. They're not trying to grow. They're not doing any better. They have not learned anything. Time to call that relationship quits, okay? And we don't want that. We deserve way better than just settling and not having somebody that we're growing in the relationship with, somebody who's willing to. You should see some changes in the person. You should see some maturity. You should see a person willing to do things that will make you happy and vice versa, not just one sided. I mean, on both sides. Both people should make each other happy and go out of their way to make the other happy. And if you don't, end that relationship. Now, here is a big one. Hold on a second, guys. My allergies today. Okay. So here's another big indicator how to know your relationship is over. Your relationship is over if there is any form of abuse, okay? And abuse can be many different things. And most of the time, when we talk about abuse, people think about physical abuse, right? But also, I want to say that there is verbal abuse. Someone who likes to constantly berate you, put you down, scream, argue, manipulate your mind, that controlling behavior, want to know everything about you, or the emotional abuse, they never want to be supportive of what you need emotionally. It's always about them. So a person who's very selfish. And of course, one of the biggest red flags is somebody who's physically abusive. If somebody puts their hands on you, it's not your fault. I feel I need to say that to somebody who may be watching this now in the bushes, in the replay. Nobody has the right to put their hands on you. Nobody. And I've even heard where people say they put their hands on me because they love me. That's how they show that they care about me. Love does not hurt. Love does not involve pain. Okay. And also, a relationship is over. Is there any form of spiritual abuse, like a person who is not willing to allow you to believe what you want to believe spiritually? So being very abusive or causing you to not be able to grow at the level that you want to spiritually, you got to leave them alone. Okay. So here is, let me see what's going on in the comment section. Hey, Miss Queen, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Thursday to you. All right, let me go to my point number 8. This is another big one. Relationship is over if there's a lack of intimacy. Okay. Now, we all know a romantic relationship, there got to be some romance in there. Come on, everybody. Let's be honest. You got to have some intimacy. There has to be some closeness. There has to be good conversation. You have to have some, what is that? That the energy. It should be some magnetic energy between the two of you. That's important in every healthy relationship. There should be that level of intimacy that you can feel comfortable to talk, to feel close to the person. And when you don't have those things, that's not a good sign. That's not a good thing. It's not a good thing when the intimacy goes away. It really isn't a good thing. So that's another reason to end the relationship. If you cannot have intimacy, if you don't feel like you can that you can talk about, um, important, intimate things with the person that you supposedly care about, you got to go. The minute someone puts their hands on you in the relationship is over. And please get out, man or woman. Physical abuse does not discriminate. It sure doesn't. Puzzle pieces. It doesn't. It doesn't. And you know, like, it starts off maybe something simple, maybe a pat, a hit, a tap, a push, a shove. Then it escalates into to punches, maybe even actually other items being used to scar you, to cause you sort of pain, to keep you in your place, because you got to know your place, that I'm the one in control of everything. I'm the one, right? Mm-mm, don't work that way. And here's my next point, everybody. The relationship is over when you stop caring what they do. This is a big one right here. If you're in a relationship with somebody and you don't care about how they look, you don't care about what they do, you don't feel attraction to them anymore, you don't care. You don't care if they call, you don't care if you spend time together. If you stop caring about anything that they do and you're like, I don't care what you do, that relationship is over, because you should never stop caring what the person that you're with is doing, if they're okay. If you stop wanting to check on them, you stop wanting to spend time with them, or the little things you remember in the beginning that are very cute when you're just initially meeting somebody, and that all turns into everything they do now is irritating to you, or they're just so annoying, and it's not cute anymore. Nothing is fun about them. You don't want to be around them. Yeah, that relationship is over when you stop caring about the individual. You stop having the care, the concern. You stop liking them. Relationship is over, because you should never stop caring about how another person is feeling. Hey, Shay Love, how are you doing? Welcome. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Thursday. You should never stop caring about the person that you're with. You should always be checking on who you're with, to see how they're doing emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. You should be, yeah, that's supposed to be your closest person to you, besides your relationship with spiritually. The person you select to be in a romantic relationship should be one of the closest relationships you have. And if you stop caring about what they do, like, you don't, like, I don't care, whatever, it doesn't matter, or you start saying, do what you want, that's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. And that's the beginning of the end. When you stop caring about what another person does, how they look, what they're doing, and you're not encouraging them to be better, and you stop caring about what they're doing with their life, that's the end. That's the end. Okay. Let me go to the next point. Now, point number 10. Uh, they prioritize themselves and family over you, for even friends. Everybody is more important than you. You're not the priority, and that's how you know a relationship is over. Because if you're always at the bottom of the list, or if you you don't ever make the list, it's always about what they want, what they need, what they need, what they need to eat, their clothes, where they want to go, what hobbies, what their goals, their career, their this, their that, but they've never asked you, what do you want out of your life? How can I help you to have the things that you want? Are you meeting your goals? No, it's always about them. My goal, what I want, what I need, what's going on with me, 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 me. And if you're with somebody and they don't prioritize you, they're not concerned about you and what you want and what you need, and they're not checking in and say, hey, is everything okay? Do you need something? How can I help you? How can I support you? Support is so important in a romantic relationship. If you are with somebody and they don't support you and care about what you need, it's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. That kind of stops that, the way you feel about somebody. It kind of just dissolves everything. Somebody who never thinks about you. never checks on you, never thinks, are they okay? Do they need something? Can I support them? Can I help them? What do they want to do with their life? What are their goals? They never put you as a priority, and that is not good. Yes, Shay. They never think about anybody then but themselves. And a person who is selfish in one aspect, they will be selfish in many things. If a person is selfish to you, and it goes to many other things. It could go to they're very selfish for their needs sexually. It could be a person who's selfish for their career. They're selfish with their time. They're selfish with taking care of everything that they want and they need, but they're never checked in and concerned. What do you want? What do you need? What are you going through? Are you okay mentally? Are you okay spiritually? Are you okay financially? Do you have the things that you want? And somebody who is not thinking about you in that aspect is not somebody who's trying to build with you in the future. Because if somebody cannot care about how you're doing, what you want, is definitely not going to care about you and think about you in the future. Okay, this is not a person that there will be a future with. So I'm about to put the link here in the chat because I have one more point. Okay, for this is for Miss Nexie. Okay, so let me go to the last point. This is for me, this is one of the biggest things. This is like deal breaker. There's no going back to this. But when someone stops communicating with you, they shut you out of their life. It's like they just close the door and push you out and close the door. But when someone stops communicating with you, and yes, we all go through things in our life, but when somebody stops talking to you, when someone doesn't take the time even to text, to call, to show any concern, to show any support, especially if you are going through something difficult in your life, that's not a good thing. When someone stops communicating with you, and I understand that everybody is on a different level when it comes to communication. Now everybody communicates the same way, but even showing some sort of effort when it comes to communication is so important. So I see Miss Nexie backstage, so let's welcome her to the show.
Hello, Miss Marlene. How are you?
Hi Miss Nexie, how are you doing?
Great. Wonderful topic, by the way. It's something that, we don't um, take accountability of many of the times when we're in a relationship. And like I said, I'm guilty of it because um, the kids get on the way, right? The kids are in sports,
Mhm.
that the school plays, whatever it is, and a lot of times we forget that before we had those beautiful kids, we had our partnership.
Mhm.
And so, at the beginning, like I said to you before, at the beginning, I was like, no, 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 no. Remember what I said? It's his fault. He did this, right? And
Yes.
my therapist, those side eyes you have on the on the emojis. My therapist did that. Because you don't realize how much you yourself can't, get it to the point where it ends, because
Yeah.
it's not just a one-sided thing, you
How,
know
how much you contributed to it.
yeah, exactly, how much you contributed to it, and also without even thinking that you are doing it. You just it's like I feel that when we become moms, kids take all of our time. We don't think
Mhm.
of, at least that was for me, that was
Okay.
the my problem. The kids became everything. And my thinking was, once the kids are older, right, they're gonna be out and we're gonna go back to our marriage. But it shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't think that we're just gonna be like this for 18 years, because if you think about it, it's 18 years of this. So you're gonna want that person to wait for you for 18 years until the last one leaves.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
makes no sense.
And it's like, and during that time, that person, it has a lot of things that they have been through,
Mm-hmm.
mentally, whatever problems, issues, maybe health things and stuff. So if you shut yourself out from them and you're not making them aware, when I always say, when a person finally is ready to come back to you, when you've checked out of the relationship, even if they're ready to come back and say, okay, let's work on this relationship, if you kind of become numb to that person, like you're putting up with it, but there's nothing there, like you stop having the feelings,
Mm-hmm.
because
Exactly.
it's not a romantic relationship anymore. It starts to turn into a friendship. And when something turns, for me, I'm just speaking for me, I'm not speaking for Nexie, but when things turn into a friendship, I can't go back to romance anymore.
Yeah, no, no, of course not. And again, it's in the beginning, like when things don't work out anymore. The easiest thing for us to do is to point the finger the other way. He did this or she did that, or he didn't pay attention or she didn't. But the thing we don't do often, and which is, I think it's unfair, because that's how a lot of people that jump from one relationship to the next go back to making the same mistakes, is because they don't take accountability. They don't see it as, no, wait a minute, I did this, I did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's a
And
big problem. Oh, I'm sorry, Nexie.
no, no, go ahead, Marlene, go ahead.
Yeah, and I always say that that's a big problem. If you are in a relationship with somebody and you're not able to say, be open and honest. Um, when you were going through whatever it was, I was not emotionally available for you. I was not supporting you the way that you needed to, or I was being very selfish. If you don't communicate those things with somebody that you're with, it kind of turns to be like you feel, wow, they're so cold towards me. And that person
Mm-hmm.
will, because of the lack of communication, will start to interpret things in their own mind. You'll start making assumptions. And when those assumptions take over your mind,
Yeah,
that's
it's
not
it's
good.
over. And that's, a lot of times we don't want to see that relationships are over, right? Because we care for this person, we've grown, with this person, we have had a great time with this person. But when relationships are over, we need to be more aware, because there is a point that, especially in a marriage, there's a point that,
Yeah.
when the relationship breaks, it, you just ignore it and continue on, because it's easier that way than it is to face what's
Yeah.
what just happened.
it, it's
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 broken.
it's easier to ignore the elephant in the room than to acknowledge it and say, what are we going to do about this? Are we going to work on our relationship, or we're just going to walk around like, I always call it, are we going to be roommates, or are we going to be in a relationship?
Exactly. And the thing is, like I said, sometimes, because you're so busy, in your day to day with life,
Mhm.
you think it's easier to just ignore. When when the relationship is unfixable, because I don't. A lot of people say, "Oh, I didn't know. I thought we could save it," and I look at it as, no. You know what? If you look deep inside of you, when a relationship is no longer fixable. That there's no saving this. So let's move on to do whatever we need to do to, let's move on. You go your way, I go my way. But
Mhm.
a lot of times it's easier to just ignore it, look the other way, and continue on, because either you have small children, or there's a lot of financial, decisions to be had before all this ends. So there's a lot of things of why, uh, even though we know that relationship is not over, there's a lot of reasons why we don't face it. But I feel that, most of the time when you're starting a relationship, they say, oh, you're at your best behavior, right, when you're starting it. But if you have had months with this person, you can see a lot of things that they're doing that they don't go with who you are or what you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
But you ignore them because you're in love with this person. You feel that you can change this person. And it goes the other way too. There are probably a lot of things that we do that they don't like, but they go with it because they say, once she comes around me, we're gonna change all this, blah blah blah. And that's the biggest mistake we can make. you know.
Yeah.
And if the person is not of your same faith, right? A lot of people
Mhm.
say that will be a problem. For me, it wouldn't if we're not following the same, but if this person doesn't believe in God, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you can follow whatever you want as long as you continue to believe what I believe, which is in God. But sometimes we find people that have so many other qualities, but they don't believe in God at all. And we ignore it because we think we're going to bring them around to believe.
Yeah, they'll
And
change.
that doesn't happen, by the way. It doesn't,
Yeah. Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
So,
it's one of those things that's one of the things that is so important for I call that to be aligned spiritually, you
yeah,
know.
exactly, Marlene. You can be aligned in everything, but, if the person is telling you, oh, you believe that, that's good. I don't. I don't go to church. I don't even believe in God. I mean, there might be something out there, but I'm not sure. When somebody says that to you and you're a very, very spiritual and very like religious person, run. Because they don't
Yeah.
change. That's exactly what
Yeah.
they believe in. You
You
just
know,
make
next
it. Hmm. Go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say that that's something that this one of those things I always call that those are deal breakers. There's certain things that it's like that you want, but there's certain things that you need. And for me, that's something a need. If you aren't aligned with somebody spiritually, it is not gonna work because a person who believes and a person who doesn't believe cannot that can align because you'll be a person who wants to be in your zone spiritually, and they'll be like, what are you doing? That's a waste of time, or that's stupid. And for me, that I can't.
And it's true. And another thing, when somebody is very giving, and likes to be a kind person, be a good human being, and this person doesn't believe in charity, doesn't believe in helping others, believes that everyone, got to help themselves, or they're in that situation, that's because they want to. They should have planned for that. When people talk to you like that, that's exactly who they are.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not someone that is just telling you this so that, he's just talking out of, nonsense. Just, he doesn't mean that. No, believe it, he does.
No. When someone shows you who they are, what is it saying? Believe them and believe them the first time. I
And
say
that,
I'm sorry, next go ahead.
no, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I think that we see it and we believe it, but we think that we can change them. That's the problem.
As perfect as I am, I don't know why the other person had a problem with me. No, Marlene, and the one thing I have to say though, even though my husband and I, he grew up in the Catholic Church, which is what I am. We're Catholic. I was raised Catholic, and I'm still Catholic. But he stopped going to church and following the church since,
Mhm.
I guess it was like in his teen years or something like that. The thing
Mhm.
here is that even though um, he wasn't going, he wouldn't stop me from going. But But the
Right.
difference there was that he wasn't with me in my religion. So even though he didn't stop me in a way, he wasn't really, we weren't really together spiritually. And
Mm-hmm.
that's important to me, right?
Very important.
And so I thought, oh my God, it's going to change. Once we get married, everything is going to be, peaches and cream. We're going to
Yeah.
be, holding hands, going to church. We're
Yeah.
going to be doing this. And you know what? 20 plus years tells you, no, they don't.
Mm-hmm.
No, they won't. So, I had to learn to, even though he didn't stop me, still bother me that he wasn't part of,
Yeah.
my journey there. Because it's
Yeah.
important, at least for someone that of faith, it is important that your partner, accompanies you to the sermon, even if they don't believe, like you just want them there. You just want them
Support.
to be part of
Support.
it for support. And, but so all of those things put together, and I know there are a lot of things that I did, right, that like he probably didn't like. Like I said, as perfect as I am, I cannot think of one. But but I knew it after, so many things. I knew the day that it broke completely.
Mm-hmm.
um and I stayed for many more years because, you know the kids were younger, they were little. I wanted it to, um keep the family together,
Yeah.
right? So, but, I go back sometimes and say, what if I would have just call it quits then? You know what I mean? Would it have been different or
Mm-hmm.
whatever? So, I think that people know when the relationship is broken, and they know it from the beginning. You're just always hoping that you can make a difference in this person's life because you love them. That's
Yeah.
how I feel.
I think so too. It was I think that was a thing for me, that I knew that a relationship was over for many years before, but I think I had to want to admit that. I didn't want to admit that it was over because I wasn't ready to. I don't know. It's kind of like I wasn't ready for the death of the relationship. I know some people, that may sound strange to some people, but for me, when a relationship is over, for me it's like a death.
Exactly. Again, it takes a lot of growth. I think, uh, personally, it takes a lot of, maturity. And I don't mean you as a mature person. I mean a relationship to be mature, for you um, to start seeing the things that work for you and don't work for you in the relationship. But now that we have had, all this, learning, the learning curve that, many of us have had in a relationship, I think that, going forward or moving forward with another relationship, it will be totally different. It will be,
Mhm.
we're not going to be able to say, if it's not, you know going together with me, following my faith, or it doesn't matter. If he's not there, then it's not going to work. We can say that now. We couldn't say that back then because we weren't, um, mature enough in our feelings, not in our age, right? In our feelings and our person, to be able to see these things, but we can see them now.
I
Or
and
if,
I
uh-huh,
also will add to that too, Nexie. Also, a lot of times we don't have enough confidence.
exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly, Marlene. That's actually, I think, a better word. We don't have enough confidence to say, what, maybe I should wait for somebody that is just like, not exactly like me, because like I said previously, a family should be a family, or a relationship should be versatile.
Mhm.
Synchronization is only for sports because you need it.
Yeah.
And even then, there's only seconds away or nanoseconds away from the other. But we have to be that way. Now, sometimes we don't have, we're feared that this is our last chance, or this is the only person we're going to be able to find that is kind of like us a little. or that's gonna love us forever. You
Exactly.
know, exactly. We're insecure. There's circumstances too sometimes that push
Hmm.
you into a relationship. But I feel that as you get older and you get more mature and you discover your likes, dislikes, what you're willing to give up from you in a relationship, what you're not willing to compromise in a relationship, all those things start coming together, and you can have healthier relationships now as compared to before.
Exactly. I think that that's the issue a lot, is that we are not in that space to where we're mature enough. Where an issue for me too was knowing that I could speak up and feel this way about a person, and because unfortunately sometimes the people that we're in a relationship with is chosen for us, and we feel we have to stay with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We feel like we got to stay with this person because this is who my mom liked, my dad liked, my sister, cousin, whoever, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of times, and even in the beginning of a relationship, you can tell if this person is not, is not right for you. You have, the sixth sense, as they call it, right? You have that feeling like, you I think that what you fear when you're not confident enough, or when we're thinking, I'm already a certain age and I'm not married, or I haven't been in
Mhm.
a serious relationship, there's something wrong. So when you're there, even though you can see that it's probably not gonna be a good relationship, but you're too I think you're too afraid of staying alone, or never going, walking down the aisle, or never having a serious relationship in your life, a committed one, and that you're going to let everybody down. And you
Mhm.
jump into a probably very unhealthy that you have seen from the very beginning, because those signs are there. If we're compatible, like I said before, on our faith, if we like, sports, or one likes the other doesn't, if we like, I like spicy food, this person hates them. So there's certain things that you have to kind of take into account.
Yeah. I always say that, a good relationship is built on two mature people,
Hmm.
because even if you don't have every single thing that you want, if you have the majority of what you want in a person, and then you have a person who's mature enough to know how to communicate, enough to know how to forgive and be accountable, and, they like to have fun, they're not like a robot, very robotic, what do you call it? A stick in the mud. Is that the saying? I think that's the saying. Um, yeah,
Yes.
I don't like
Yes.
a stick in the mud. I just, no. But just, no, that's just not going to work with this. We all know our things that are deal breakers, the things that we don't like. And as long as you have two people that are mature enough that know how to communicate what they're going through, and you don't have one person or two people that is overly sensitive, because that can be an issue too. um, that even if somebody would do something wrong, they automatically will always be in their feelings. And I don't always mean like crying or anything, but it can also go the opposite way, where a person is always angry when you say something to them because they don't want to be confronted with it. They don't like confrontation, and that confrontation turns into, I can't say anything to you because you'll always get upset.
Hmm. Yeah, and again, we go back to, and I don't like saying this because, as you get, healthy in your mind, as you start, your therapy, your journey, to a healthy mind, um, and a healthy you start seeing relationships, and or people starting, and you're like, oh, that's not gonna work. Nope.
You can
that
see it.
relationship is not gonna last. You can
You can
tell
see
right
it when you're
away.
on the outside, right? But when you're, I always say, when you're in the relationship, it's certain things that you can't see. And I'm not saying for you to put so much that you tell all your friends, that you tell all these people, but definitely need to have some people that you can trust to say, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And just to make sure that you're
Hmm.
on track with your relationship, namely in the dating period. Like, is this weird or is this just me? You should have people
Yeah,
like that.
you know what? Yes, we always need a friend like that. The problem is that we don't want to ask those questions to some of our friends. And even if they say, I don't know, I don't think you and him, you right away put blinders and close your ears because you want to be with this person. It
Mhm.
I've always said this to couples, go to counseling before you walk down that aisle, before you commit to a very, very serious relationship. I mean, like engagements or something, or let's say you get engaged, go to counseling. See where your relationship is because once you sign that paper, everything becomes real. And I've heard of so many people that say he was such a nice guy until we signed that paper. He
Mm.
flipped on me. And I'm thinking, no, 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 no. He was always this way. You just didn't want to see it because you cannot hide who you are from people.
It's always there, but
Yeah, we
we
refuse to
have to
see
be
it.
the ones. We refuse to see it.
Yeah. And again, I have two wonderful sisters who in the beginning when I was about to get married, are you sure? Because I don't see what you see, because you're the one in the relationship. Are you sure? I don't see it. They wouldn't say anything like what it was that they didn't see, but they kept on asking me if I was sure. Because I don't know. I don't see you guys like if you're
Yeah.
compatible. I don't see the compatibility between the two of you. And I was like, no, of course. Oh my God. You know what I mean? Like,
You say, come
you
on, you
know.
don't see all this love.
I didn't want to see it. I of course, I have gone back and told my sisters, now I get it. I know what you were trying to tell me. I just didn't want to hear it. But we have to be open to we have to open our eyes, and be true to ourselves. Don't rush into or not rush, but don't stay with someone just because you signed that on the dotted line, or because
Mhm.
of the years you guys have been together. Don't stay on a relationship that is not helping you grow. It's not allowing you to grow. It's not encouraging you to grow. Don't get stuck in it because the regrets there's
Yeah.
too much. There are too many regrets when you
Yep.
stay in a relationship that is not working.
Yep. And you know this is not a person that you can build and grow with and be happy with. You know that. It is especially a person who's very controlling and manipulative. That won't change. It most likely it will get worse.
Exactly. And like I said previously, if this person is not it doesn't have the faith you do, or doesn't follow the same faith you do, that's okay. But if this person does not believe in God, it doesn't believe on what you believe, then it's not gonna work. It's not gonna it's not gonna change because you marry him, or because you marry her, because you guys move in together, or because you guys have been in a relationship for a long time. People don't change because of the move. If they haven't changed when you're not committed, they're not going to change when you do. I
Yes,
guess
that's,
that's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, that's so true, Shay. And I have to say, there are, okay, let me, how do I say it in the nicest way possible? when you're younger and when you have like this big ego, or when you think like you know everything and you're the smartest person, and everybody is, people who care about us, they want to warn us and they want to protect us, but we want to do what we want to do. And let me just say that sometimes we only get into these relationships so that we can run away from our present living situation. It's like, I got to get out of here and let me jump. Let me jump into this relationship. But if you personally aren't mature enough, if you don't know yourself, if you haven't put some time to work in yourself, you're only jumping from the pot to the frying pan.
Mm, mm, exactly. And, you know, like I said, we have to make sure that because respecting ourselves, is making sure that everybody else around us respects us
Mhm.
too. Right. And sometimes I feel it like, why did I, and I look at it sometimes this way, like, why did I disrespect myself for all these years? Why did I dismiss my feelings? Why did I push what I wanted, what I needed aside just to stay,
Yeah.
just to, like, I
That
have
love.
to, yeah, I have to, like, why didn't I love myself enough, to put myself first? Like I
Yeah.
said, because that, it's been over for years. You
Yeah.
just didn't want to accept it.
Yeah, and and adding to that too, Nexie, a lot of times we were warned for things, right? Like I've said before, but when we don't know ourselves yet, now, I can admit that now from my personal growth and the things that I've been through in my life, that I wasn't mature enough to be in any relationship. I definitely was in that period of time where I was looking at other people who had gotten into relationships, and I thought because they were in a relationship, I wanted to be in a relationship too. And I wasn't ready. I wasn't mature enough. I didn't know myself. I hadn't worked on myself yet. But just because I wanted to be in a relationship, and just because somebody tells you they love you, then you automatically feel like, oh, yeah, let's speed up this relationship and go further. And you're not ready. You're not
Mm,
only mature, you're not only not mature enough emotionally. A lot of times we don't have ourselves in the right space financially.
mm-hmm. Exactly, Marlene. And a lot of times, I hear people say this, many times, that they stayed because of the kids. They stayed because of the kids, and only because of the kids. And I, seeing my situation, I tell them it wasn't just because of the kids. I personally, have gone through what happened, over and over and over. And I have discovered that it wasn't just the kids, that kept me there, right? It was the fact that I still had love for this person. That's why I stayed as long as I did. Now, when that ended, when that love, that I didn't feel it anymore, that's when everything just, you know, move
Mhm.
forward to, okay, it's done.
Yes.
So a lot of times, especially nowadays, I know back in the day it was harder for a woman to live, but right now, I feel that if you stay there, it's because you still have feelings, unresolved feelings. Because once the feelings are gone or they're dead, they're not no longer there. There's nothing keeping you there.
Yep, you're over it.
Mhm.
You're over it.
Exactly. So, I will always say the kids, the kids, the kids, but it's not only that. There's many other factors that are involved in it. But I feel that once that person is out of your heart, that's it. You move on, even if you don't have any money.
Yeah,
You're
you
done.
said okay. Okay, that's it. I think it's a combination of the reason why people stay is a combination of, lack of confidence, lack of the finances, lack of support, and also, not wanting to be embarrassed, not wanting to be alone, not, it's like all the expectations that you had for your life, like in your head, we all have this like dream fantasy how the relationship was going to be and how perfect it was going to be and how in love we were going to be and we were going to live happily ever after, right? But once you realize that that's not reality, that it's not going to be a perfect relationship, but when you find out that that relationship is not only not perfect, it's not a relationship that is healthy, where you're growing, where you know you can be okay mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially. Yeah, if you're not getting your needs met, you have to respect yourself enough to say it's time to move on.
Exactly. And I've heard one of my friends said, and I have to say this because I think it's right on point as you is what you just said. She said, I don't, if it's over, why don't you leave? Just go. Said, no, I don't want my parents to win. I don't want them to know that they were right. I'm gonna stick it out as much as I can. And I'm like, why? Even though
Mhm.
they told you, I don't feel he's right for you. I don't think this is gonna work out. Who cares if they were right? You can go back and say, you know what, you were right, admit it, but you're not gonna be in a relationship that is unhealthy for you.
Yeah. Where you
You know,
feel
and
sad or you feel discouraged or you feel like so stressed out and all the anxiety that they put on you. No, it's
yeah,
not
and
worth
just because you don't want your parents to know that they were right, I was like, what? That is so
that.
weird.
They got to work on their humility.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I told her. I said, you gotta go back to church, woman.
She
You gotta
needs
go
some
back to
faith.
confession.
Yeah, she needs some faith. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
great topic, Miss Nexie. Any final words?
you know, it's very difficult to actually say anything, any, finality when it comes to a relationship. But I think that the only thing I can leave anyone with is just, make sure that you're putting yourself first. And I don't mean that you have to be selfish and it's you. No, what I mean is that you're putting your mental health and your feelings and everything that makes you happy first. And
Mhm.
that when you enter a relationship, make sure it's someone that appreciates you for who you are. If this person stops doing that, then it's time for you to, take the next step, whatever that is. But always make sure that people like you, appreciate you for the fascinating person that you are.
Right.
Other than that, I think, it's a complex, relationships are complex. So there's not the one answer and the one thought. But the only thing is just,
Mhm.
make sure that they accept you and, for who you are and they make you happy.
Exactly.
That's it.
Great, great.
And thank you for having me.
No problem, Nexie. I really appreciate you. And my final thoughts on, how to know a relationship is over is you have to come back to your center, to your balance. And we get away from respecting ourselves, respecting what we want. We get so into pleasing the person that we're with that we get away from what do I want? What am I doing? You'll spend all of these years pouring into an individual that never poured into you, and then you turn around and like my cup is empty. I'm not getting anything I want, and you're just miserable. And maybe even sometimes, even though you may be in a relationship, but you felt alone for a long time. That and I think that's one of the worst feelings is to feel alone in a relationship. So you don't deserve that. Everybody deserves to have somebody that will be respectful, understanding, compassionate, honest, and they'll be willing to put in the work for the relationship, not just for on your side for you to put in the work. They have to be willing to put in the work as well. So know when your relationship is over, and please don't stay in a relationship just to say you're in a relationship. Okay, just to check that box on Facebook that says I'm in a relationship. It's more important. Your well-being is more important. Your mental health is important, and just how you feel about yourself. So knowing your relationship is over and ended so that you can generate another relationship, because I'm telling you, when you close one door, another one will open. So thank you so much for tuning in to Marlene Motivates today, your channel for motivation, inspiration, positivity, mindset shifting, and relationship advice. I really appreciate each of you for watching, whether live or in the replay. My replay gang, leave me a comment in the comment section below about how did you know your relationship was over. And thank you so much to Miss Nexie for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you for having me, Marlene. Bye, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Forgive me, I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you? I forgive me, I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you?